Thank you, Terry. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you so much, Terry. And yes, in the here and now. Isn't that perfect just to think of in this here and now, knowing spirit? And that's why it's such a great pleasure for me to introduce our guest speaker, because we are always delighted when she returns to what I consider the spiritual home here at Prescott. Now, for those of you who might not have heard her in the past, she's absolutely awesome. I could really go on for quite a while regarding her accomplishment, but let me just say that she has always captured our heart. She is in our heart. She was the senior minister at the Center for Spiritual Living in Hemet. And then she got married back in December, I think it was. So she's still a new bride. And she relocated to Tempe, where she is continuing her education in anthropology and religious studies. But honestly, you're going to love her as much as we do, Reverend Rhonda Tretsven.
Thank you, Hazel. Thank you. Love you too. Thank you. So good morning. Oh my gosh. When Tom was talking about the monsoon weather, yeah. In fact, let me see here. My brother has been here for about 30 years in Prescott Valley. So I have been making the trip up the hill for 30 years. And it was really interesting this morning because, you know, when we go places, it's always a different experience. No matter how many times you have gone up that hill, you see things differently. And this morning it was one of those differentlies for me. I'm running up the hill and I'm thinking, wow, this place has changed so much. In fact, I'm sure most of you remember when the Walmart went in. It was like, oh my gosh, hallelujah. And then the Holy Grail, In-N-Out Burger. You know, it went out in fact, my brother, it was so funny. He called me and he goes, sis, you'll never understand. What happened? We got In-N-Out. Because when he'd go over to visit us in California, what was his first stop? In-N-Out. So he only had to go a few blocks, and now he's at In-N-Out. And, you know, and I was thinking, you know, why are we here? And I don't mean, you know, here on this earth. It's like, why do we go to the places we go? You know, why are you here in this beautiful center called spiritual living? What drove you, or actually what brought you here in this spiritual place? Was it something that urged you, something that called to you, or did you just fall through the door one day and say, hey, this looks like a curious spot? You know, but you know, our hearts are called, our souls are called to a certain, whatever it is, teaching, religious study, whatever you want to call it. It is something within us that says yes. And I know at the Science of Mind, because we are open at the top and we invite everybody into the same conversation of that one God and that one life, that we can fall through the door and go, wow, wherever I have been on my spiritual journey, it agrees with me. And yeah, I can borrow from this and take from that and maybe give that back because it doesn't work for me anymore. But what happens is then you settle into this beautiful spiritual home and you say, I'm here. I'm with like beings. I'm with people that have like minds. And even though we are diverse and we come from different backgrounds, as I said, we're all in that same conversation. You know, we are actually in an intimate relationship with the God of our understanding. Each of us has a different and unique experience of that one God, that one life. And so we tend to, you know, in our lives, we're getting a little distracted. And often when things don't go really well in our lives, we say, you know what, I'm going to go have some little bit retail therapy. Right? That's what we do. We go and have retail therapy, and then we get it home and we enjoy it and go, okay, that's perfect. Right? Right? It lasts for maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe a day, if we're lucky. And what we're doing is actually replacing something that is actually gnawing at us to go deeper. And we often have that big question mark of, what is it? What is it that the material world isn't giving me? You know, in the 1980s, in the Science of Mind, we preached and teached princes and princesses, palaces and parking places. We did. And what it was all about manifestation. You can have whatever you want. Okay, we believe that now still. Nothing's changed. However, we've moved out of that material world, and we've learned that there's a lot more gold within here. There's a lot more things that we can have when we come from our hearts. You know, Ernest Holmes said, who's a founder, by the way, he says, there is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it. You can use it. So what does that mean to us? Oh, the power of good, we can use it in the universe. That means that you are one with the same creative power that created everything that's right here, right now. You're sitting on, you're wearing, whatever it is. That creative power made you, created the world which we live in. And my beautiful community, you're a part of that. You're part of that divinity, that part of that God power. We are speaking about the presence within. I'm not talking about the outside. The outside is where you find it in books, audio tapes, classes, and anything else you want to throw your money at outwardly. You can't get it out here. You get it in here. You can't buy that, as much as we try. So what is open for us to do is to be able to go within the heart and say, yes, what is mine to know? What is mine to do? Whatever it is, you know, you only take a few minutes and just say, please, I know what to do. So please guide me. Please infuse me with that knowledge, with that love that I so badly require right now. I never say need, and I'm going to tell you why. Don't use the word need. Because need is another word for lack. In Science of Mind, we lack nothing. Absolutely nothing. So just sweep that need right out of your vocabulary. You never need anything at all, because it's always right where we are. You know, what is seeking us? We're also seeking. It wants to have that beautiful partnership. It is that divinity within us that we so badly want to know. You know, sometimes in our finding or in our looking for divinity, we have these uncomfortable things. And as much as we try to lose them, they find us. Well, maybe you dropped too many breadcrumbs, and that's why it found you again. Or maybe because you decided that, you know, I don't need to deal with this. I don't really need to go within and figure it out, because I've got this. And the God within you goes, okay, we'll see how far this gets. And then sometimes, as I said, you have to repeat, because you've dropped things along the way and it's found you again. You know, we have the power to harness whatever we want and change our world. We can change our minds. We can change whatever it is. that is not working for us, what's not supporting us, what's not serving us, because we have that divinity. I like to say it that we have possibilities. As Science of Mind, we are possibilitarians. We are. Think about it. We are possibilitarians. Because anything is possible with God. You cannot do this experience, this human experience of life, alone. Because God is always with us. It's always guiding us. Ernest Holmes said that if humans are endowed with the attributes of self-choice and free will, we must be allowed to make this great discovery for ourselves, meaning divinity. You know, the Hindus have this really awesome legend, and it's about Brahma and his beautiful little spirits. And one day, Brahma is really sick and tired of the humans, you know, not using their divinity in the right way. He's like, you know, they just don't get it. I don't understand it. They just don't get it. They're not using it right. You know, I'm going to get rid of it. So he takes it away. And his little helpers are like, well, whoa, wait a minute. What are they supposed to do? And he says, they have to find it. And so his little God council, they get together and they say, okay, so how do we do this? And Brahma says, well, we have to hide it where they can't find it. And so the first one says, well, let's bury it deep within the earth's core. They can never get there. And Brahma goes, no, they will figure out a way to get there. So they'll find it. And then the next little god says, no, I know. We're going to go to the deepest depths of the oceans and plant it there. There's no way they can get it there because they can't breathe in the water. And Brahma goes, oh yeah. But they can invent things so that they can get to the deepest depths of that ocean. And so the next one says, how about on the mountain? We can put it on the highest mountain and they will never get to it because they can't breathe up there. And Brahma says, oh yes, they can. They'll figure out a way to get it. And so then they all stood there and they looked at each other and they thought, well, now what? And Brahma said to himself, you know, let me think about this for a minute. You know, if I put it within them, they will continue to look for it. And so to this day, the divinity is within us. Forever we are seeking that divine self, that particle of God that is so personal to each and every one of us. You know, there's examples throughout our religious history. And we see this especially in the Bible, like Elijah searched for God in a whirlwind, but found it in a whisper. The still, small voice. Moses, Mr. Dramatic, found it in a burning bush. Mary Magdalene found God illustrated through the man Jesus of Nazareth, the anointed one, the Christ consciousness that we all know and work and have its being. That Christ consciousness, that love. And that's what it's based on, is love. To love one another. Not to disturb one another or poke one another, but to truly, truly love one another as ourselves. To be able to look at another and say, you are the face of God. You are that beautiful divine light. You are love incarnate. And so in Genesis, Esau and Jacob had been having a little bit of a sibling rivalry and some fight. And eventually they decided, It was time. And so it says, Esau said, I have had enough, brother. Keep what you have for yourself. And Jacob said, no, please. If I have found favor in your sight, then I accept my present from my hand. For I have seen your face, which is like seeing the face of God. And you have accepted me. Please accept my blessing that is brought to you, because God has dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough I want to share with you. And so the story goes where they became siblings and understood one another again. You know, we have so many hints about the divine within us. I often think, why don't we act upon it? What are we afraid of? And I have said this, I know, to you all before, where sometimes what happens is we become afraid where we're not supposed to be divine because we're told from some whatever source that we're not supposed to be that divine self. Yes, you are. You were created in the image of God. You are created in the image of love. That is what your mission is, love. So get over it. Love. We need more love. We need to spread it. We need to expand it. And how we do that is by incorporating that God within, that divine self, that one life that is God's life, which is our life right here, right now. So spread it. That's what we're supposed to be doing. It is our true nature. That is God's nature, is to be love, to be all that. And Ernest said, the science of mind then is to study of life and the nature of laws of thought. The conception that we live in a spiritual universe. That God is in, through, around, and most importantly, for us. There is nothing supernatural anywhere on any plane that would today seem to us supernatural. After all, it is understood. It will be found spontaneously natural within. So let me put it this way. If you don't go within, you're going to go without. So I would like to affirm something with you, and I'm going to say it first, and then I'd like to invite you all to say it next. God is. God is. I am. Part of the natural and spiritual universe. When I see another, I see the face of God reflected back at me. I am. God is. I let it be so. And so it is. And let's say that again. God is. I am. Part of the natural and spiritual universe. When I see another, I see the face of God reflected back at me. I am. God is. I let it be. I let it be so. Amen. Yes. And so I ask that we turn within for just these few moments. Loving God, loving love, which is right here, right now, within each one of us, right here, right now. This beautiful spiritual community that lives and breathes and has its being and is doing amazing things. They are growing, they are flowing, they are in it, they are vibing it, they are living it. For each and every one of us. enjoys that invitation for the highest good. And so what I know to be true right here, right now, is there is a highest good for each and every one of us right here. No matter what is going on in our lives, if we question why, it's because this or something better is coming along. And that I know that when we see another, we see the reflection of love. We see that reflection of the divine self. We listen, we love, and we know that whatever steps we are to take are with that divinity within us. It never leads us astray because it only can love us through whatever it is that's going on. It holds us in the palm of its hand and says, "For you I am well pleased. I love you. That's all I can be. And that's all you are, is truly love." And so I know that love exists, not only within this beautiful Center for Spiritual Living. I know it exists everywhere, in every faith tradition, whether it's on a Saturday, Sunday, or Monday through Friday. A forest, wherever it is, the sacred is always there. And so is God. That beautiful nature of God. And so it is with such a grateful heart that I give thanks for this beautiful, beautiful spiritual community who is moving forward in love, knowing they know the right and perfect steps to take for all that they want, for all that is required, for all that is fulfilled. And so I release this into love, into light, into God's perfect law. Know is all is well. All is made manifest in love, in gratitude, as together we say. And so it is. And so I'd like you all to stand because we're all going to do a little bit of Face of God. And Bob's going to teach us the steps of Face of God. Yes. Yes. There we go. Of God. Sure, please. Our face of God. I hold you in my heart. Our part of me. Our face of God. There we go. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. We are the face of God. We hold you in our hearts. We are a part of us. You are the face of God. of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. One more time. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. Yes.
Face of God. Oh, and thank you so much, Reverend Rhonda. See what I mean? How she's just captured our heart. Just your message is so beautiful, and you are the face of God as well. And we thank you for sharing your gifts of insight and time and the spiritual message. And at this time, we also ask you now to share your gift, your financial gift in supporting this center as we go out into the world, blessing all, knowing our oneness with all life.